What was that disgusting thing someone you were dating told you and it changed your image of them?
He relayed the story of how he had thrown a full milkshake out of a moving car at an old lady who was walking on the sidewalk and hit her full in the chest. He could barely get the story out. He was laughing so hard. I thought this was something he had maybe done when he was in middle school and trying to show off for his friends. That would have been bad enough. No, he did this when he was 21. What a plain fucking asshole. Fuck you, John.
Similar vein, he laughed his way through a story about how several of his friends cornered and beat up a guy at a restaurant for heckling them from a table over, most likely telling them to calm or quiet down. The victim was apparently severely injured but didn't press charges. My date insisted that he didn't participate in the brawl. I didn't believe him, and was genuinely surprised by my horror. When I broke up with him, I told him it was because he lacked empathy. The story above was particularly bad, but there were others that told me not to trust him as a partner. He took it surprisingly well in the moment, but later started espousing woman-hating rhetoric and was dumb enough to post it on his public-facing social media. He's now married after having dated his now wife for only a little over a year. I worry for her. Edited incel rhetoric to woman-hating rhetoric.
Oh man, one day when I was around 21, I was walking downtown to meet some friends at a bar, and a group of kids in a pickup truck fucking nailed me with a full McDonald's milkshake. I still remember that feeling of just walking around, minding my business, then suddenly feeling a slam in the back of my head and being instantly covered in pink milkshake. What a shit thing to do to someone. Fuck anyone who ever did this or something like it.
Why would anyone do something this shitty? I honestly don't get it.
Because they are mean-spirited and cruel people at heart. They enjoy other people's suffering, like the opposite of people who feel good when they help someone. They feel good when they hurt someone.
That is sociopath level shit. I don't say this lightly, but what a piece of human garbage that dude is. Good lord.
This sand thing happened to me and some friends in a party town during party time. Guys even pulled over in a lot with an officer parked. A friend went to said officer and was told basically, fuck off. If roles were reversed and we tossed a drink into the moving vehicle, the charge is aggressive, deadly projectile and whatnot. But the fucking speed works two ways. Cop didn't do shit, and my boy was covered in a smoothie with the fucking pricks who threw it literally 100 yards away from same lot as officer. Guaranteed, if we escalated in the lot, they'd pulling out cuffs for everyone. Fuck you for throwing anything at a moving vehicle. But double mother, fuck you if you did it with the hopes of hitting somebody. Fuck you.
My ex completely changed after we got married. When I asked him why he'd lied to me about who he was before, he literally said, "I didn't think you'd like me if you knew." Damn straight. I was like, "Don't you think I kind of deserve to decide that for myself? Now I just can't trust you at all." And he said, "But then you wouldn't have married me." Surprise, surprise, we got divorced.
My ex hid his true nature from me very successfully for a few years. It was such an absolute mindfuck when I discovered the extent of his deception as time went on. It has completely destroyed my ability to trust. My therapist tries her best, but I'm no closer to being able to have a relationship again, even after all this time.
Hey, give yourself some grace. You were bamboozled by this ex, and you've chosen to make a positive move by going to therapy. Maybe having a relationship again is the end zone, but there's no time frame on that. You said, my therapist tries her best as well. Do you feel like they are a good match for you? If you have the ability to try a couple different therapists, maybe you could have an even better match.
I once asked my ex why he married me when I would eventually find out who he really was. And although he was a compulsive liar, for once he told the truth. He said, "Because you're Catholic and you can't get a divorce." Unfortunately for him, my priest is the one who told me to get a divorce, LOL.
The thought process, or lack thereof, behind this is so bonkers, yet it isn't uncommon at all. What do these people think is going to happen? They're just going to successfully pretend to be someone they aren't for the rest of their life, and they're going to be happy despite it?
The thought process is that their SO is trapped now and can't do anything about it. Just gotta get the ring or a baby and they can drop the act. After knowing him for like 6 years, he randomly told me he was really depressed I quit my old job and that I had lost a lot of use to him. The wording really threw me off. He was pretty good at masking, so I thought he just misstated it. Surely my use wasn't my career. Oh no, it was. He said that a big part of his interest in me was my career because he had hoped to have one like mine, and it's how we met. So me switching was a bit of a letdown. Eventually, he clarified that even though I was now making over 5x salary to what I made at my prior job and had completely transformed my life and shared a lot of that money with him daily, from good food to designer clothes he liked, the fact that I no longer worked in his industry made him sad every day, and he felt like I should have stayed in that industry to help his career by having contacts and advice, but he knew I was selfish and would take that the wrong way.
Absolutely bewildering. You seem like a generous person, and a partner like that is a leech. Glad you got out.
Oh, he was a total hobosexual, and I was in too deep once I realized it. It took forever to get out due to his mind games, but he always had emergencies, and I always had money, so it worked great for him. His PC dies, and his part-time gig needs him to have his PC. Well, oh my gosh, I can help. After all, he's finally working after 3 years of unemployment. But wait, he really needs that top-line graphics card, and I mean, I did make a lot of money, so it's only fair, right? And he really loves me, right? Etc. Lots of guilt tripping and money, and also free labor. I even did some of his work for him since it was remote work, and I had the skills despite having my own career and easily 60-plus hour job.
Not really dating because we had only one date, but this guy on a first date proudly tells me about how when his ex kicked him out of the house, she owned the house, he took an upper decker in all 3 of the toilets in the house, meaning he shit in the tank, and hid shit, his literal feces, between the mattress and box spring of her bed and the guest bed, and also smeared on the bottom of several kitchen drawers and in 2 register vents. The kicker, his version of why she kicked him out and deserved the shit, literally he gave her was, she was crazy. She got jealous just because she's wasting her life working for the man, and I still know how to have fun and not let money control me. I bailed on that date so fast.
Months after telling my ex how I felt sexually violated by him and ongoing abuse and arguments, he revealed to me that his first thought after me telling him how I felt was, "I'll show you what it's really like to be violated." And he essentially confessed to planning how he wanted to rape me down to the detail. I already resented him, but this made me genuinely fear him.
I'm glad he's an ex and you got out of that. Threats like that aren't empty or just ways to manipulate you. They can really be dangerous. My college boyfriend never seemed violent, but we argued a lot. Well, one night we were in the middle of a huge, bad fight and he forced himself on me. At the time, I tried to brush it off since he was my boyfriend. It couldn't have been the R word, but that was 14 years ago and it still bothers me. Glad you got out before it escalated.
I had one date with a woman who told me she was in therapy for domestic abuse. I thought it meant she had been abused by her spouse. Through talking with her, she mentioned burning her daughter with a curling iron, on purpose. That's when I realized she was the abuser. I was glad she was getting therapy for it, but I couldn't keep dating her.
While fighting with his younger brother about politics and who was right, who has the blue check mark next to their name, he was 48 years old trying to one-up his 34-year-old brother, as if he should recognize his wisdom. Yes, elite Instagram man.
Damn, not that it makes it much better, but I was half disappointed it wasn't an ex-Twitter account.
It was something he said while I was with him in the car. Sitting at a set of lights, he rolled down the window and shouted, "Hey fatty, have another donut," at a large woman waiting to cross the road. That was our last date.
You didn't immediately want to have sex with him? Amazing.
I was once on a date with a guy who made mean comments about a larger woman on the dance floor, gonna need a bigger dance floor type stuff, and who wouldn't stop bragging about his job and how much money he made. He also knew I had a fear of heights and kept trying to pressure me into going on this 400-foot swing ride. I kept saying no, and he kept mocking me, saying, "It's only a small ride." Without missing a beat, I replied back, "You're a small ride." It just came out. I didn't even realize what I said until after I said it, but yeah, there was no date after that.